Hello, everybody. This is your Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Tuesday. Always good to be here with all of you. This moon is going to be squaring Uranus today at 26 degrees. So there's a lot of fixed energy. There's a lot of I know what's best on both sides of the court, right? This Venus will make an in conjunction to the galactic center today, which I think is a very interesting kind of vibration. And when I looked at that, I did look at this before I started, and I was like, man, Venus at 27, making an in conjunction or quincunx to the galactic center. I think today it's like we're getting some downloads that I think are really important today. You know, and more of the feelings and the emotional currents that we've been feeling of where they just haven't fully been off, especially in our relationships and, you know, in our self-worth issues. You know, if we've had low self-worth issues, you know, that we've been dealing with, you know, quite a bit, going through Chiron and Aries and this whole first half of this year with Chiron and the eclipses and Mercury retrograde. And I think today, with this Venus making this in conjunction to the galactic center, it's reminding us that, you know, things aren't always what they look like. But, you know, like every time we're in a situation, even when it's uncomfortable or it's not really, you know, that kind of emotional frequency where we feel the most secure, there's still lessons to be learned, right? And when things are aspecting the galactic center like this, it is like this big portal of knowledge that pours through, you know, with whatever kind of situation it is. And I definitely think in our relationships and in our values and in our self-worth where things haven't really been fully understood or things have just kind of been off, or, you know, where having feelings of, well, I really want to take this journey. I really want to get outside of my comfort zone and kind of go on a new path and on this new adventure, right? It sounds fun. It looks fun. But Venus here is reminding us that, you know, the value is right here. It's in the people that we love. It's in the people that we're connected to. It's in the people that we're it's in the people that we're the closest to. You know, sometimes we don't have to look so far out into the galactic center through a black hole, into another dimension, you know, like we'll find it right here in front of us, you know. If our worth and our value isn't being seen or we feel like it's not being seen, well, it's not necessarily you. And sometimes with Cancer energy, it's easy to take things personal. But, you know, the truth is that your value is within you and what you've created and what you know, the trail that you leave, you know. Some call it your resume or your, you know, your history book or whatever. It's the trail that you leave, where you can really see the value of your worth. Like, you know, when you make an exchange of value, there has to be trust, right? And that trust is based on your past or what you've done or what you've left behind or where you come from, your experiences, your success. So, you know, it's not based on some bigger picture, you know, or some other dimension, you know. So with the galactic center today, and even with Neptune, you know, Neptune will get back to 27 degrees eventually. We'll square the galactic center again. So it's also breaking through these illusions too that, you know, aren't even in this reality, you know. So I think too, with Mars in Taurus, as much as it wants to ground this energy, it's getting much closer here to Uranus, and by this weekend, we're going to be there. We're going to really start to feel that very intense, unpredictable energy start to come through. And today with Uranus squaring the moon, and just like we had Mars and the moon squaring yesterday, you know, a lot of emotional, fixed, stubborn, unmovable energy is coming through here today. And Uranus is going to kind of shock us today. So there could be some shocks to your ego, or where you think you're right or you think you know. You know, there could be some situations or some emotional experiences that come through that kind of shock us out of our, ego or out of our fixed kind of, our fixed stage, where we want to be seen. It's like, well, even if I'm wrong, I'm not going to admit I'm wrong. As long as I'm being seen and heard and validated, I'll still run with it, right? It's like Uranus today. It's like, nah, that's not good enough. It's like, bam, like, bet you didn't see that coming. So this moon in Leo today, squaring Uranus, there could definitely be some unexpected emotional things that really trigger us emotionally. So and especially with our values and our heart and our emotions and where we want to really express ourselves, but where we've been stuck and where, we kind of have to move and change. And Mars and Uranus is trying to push us. Even when we don't want to move, Mars and Uranus is going to keep forcing us and pushing us all week. Just one more rep. You got it, And the results and the transformation, you can't really see yet, but, it's always for the greater good and always for the better. And that's what's really exciting about this Mars-Uranus energy, but it's also like, oh, fuck, like, what is it really? So this moon in Leo today, it kind of is bringing up that energy of like, oh, what is it really? There is this kind of foreign entity coming in here, so we have to also hold up our boundaries with Neptune and Saturn retrograde and be very honest, to be very clear about what those boundaries are. But also, step into the unknown this week and this weekend. Going into this weekend is especially, it's about being comfortable in the unknown, right? Mars and Taurus, Uranus and Taurus. Taurus wants to be comfortable, right? Uranus wants to traverse into the unknown, wants to embrace the unpredictable. That's the lesson this week. If you want to be stuck and rooted and fixed, in your Taurus self, and be lazy and not want to actually follow through with what you're doing, or, Mars-Uranus is going to be very difficult to handle. Because it's a wild horse. Mars-Uranus it's a wild bull. Mars-Uranus is the bull fucking storming through the city, fucking plowing over everything, It's like, you see those in Mexico or in Spain or whatever, and the Latin countries where they have the bull running through the city, and it's like some big cultural event, right? Where people are applauding, and it's like people are spectating this extreme event of this raging bull running. It's cultural, right? Like that's very Mars-Uranus to me. That's how it feels. And definitely with Pluto, it is like, things dying off and having to be destroyed in order to rebuild. And, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus being the ruling planet of Aquarius, and Uranus dispositing Pluto here. So there is a breakdown of old patterns and old systems and old connections and old pathways and neural pathways that once were connected that are not now. And now this Mars-Uranus is going to shock us into a new direction where we can make new connections. And, also with Mars too, like I've been saying, is Mars has been crossing this territory that we went through in Taurus season. So the new moon in Taurus, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction at the beginning of Taurus season, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, obviously Venus-Uranus conjunction, and Mercury as a, before it got to Gemini. So Mars is putting all of that into motion and into action, and definitely this Mars-Uranus is the last Taurus conjunction that we're going to have this year. So all of that great, amazing, abundant energy that we set into motion, that we set into play, more so. Back in April and May, Mars is putting it into action and putting it into motion. So over these next 6 months, as we move into Scorpio season, where we'll have the Taurus full moon, you'll see what I'm talking about. And we got the Knight of Pentacles reverse. So, we don't want to move too quickly. We want to be patient. In Mars and Taurus, we want to be patient. And the Knight of Pentacles is very patient. There's a lot of weight that it's carrying, but it knows the value of its duty and of its role and the weight that it is carrying, but also at the same time, with it reversed, it's sometimes letting go of the things that weigh you down, that are heavy, that do not serve, where their value is not matched, or the value is not what it used to be. So with the Knight of Pentacles, there is some weight that needs to be let off in order to keep moving forward. And I think too, with Mars Uranus too, it's going to shock us into a whole new mindset of realizations and new perspectives of, okay, like, I can no longer take this with me if I'm going to keep moving, and if I'm going to keep reaping the rewards of the value that I put out there with Mars and Taurus and Uranus and Taurus. And this is gambler's energy, and it's like, you want to be careful too. You don't want to be doing anything crazy this week, or getting caught up in, or fucking you and your buddies driving down the fucking highway. It's like, yo, let's fucking see how fast this car goes, right? It's like, with Mars Uranus energy, we don't want to be fucking around, right? Yes, risk is reward, right? It's calculated risk, risk not doing something stupid, fucking, like seeing, you know what I mean? Taking a risk, especially financially, working out some sort of, investment with Mars Uranus conjunction can be very fruitful and beneficial and prosperous. And through all of the Taurus stuff that we went through in April and May, that Mars is now putting into action, those kinds of risks can, be worth it in the long run. The stupid, crazy risks, where you could physically hurt yourself with Mars Uranus, you want to be very careful. Look out for other people too. I love driving, I love racing, I love all that shit, but I do consider myself a defensive driver. So I'm always looking out for other people, so Mars Uranus energy as well is very innovative, very exciting. There could be some new innovations that this transit is going to ignite and put into motion, of something related to physical motion, or some new exciting odd, strange, alien way of traveling or moving, or some physical, sort of momentous discovery, or some new form of energy. I hear people talking about hydrogen energy, being the next big thing, if we can break through the matrix kind of thing, who knows? But that's what I'm getting with all this Uranus energy and all these Uranus conjunctions we've had in Taurus here. It's like there is this opportunity for this new inventions and new ideas and new creations that are going to rise up, that are going to challenge the status quo and challenge the normal, and could be very uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, like, if we look at history, this is when we quantum leap. So all of these Uranus conjunctions that we've had in Taurus have just expanded, especially with Jupiter, has expanded that area of our lives. And now Mars is going to really push us in a very physical way. It'd be like, you better be willing to step into some unknown, unexpected stuff and be able to take it on and face it in a practical way and find practical solutions, even if they look and seem unconventional or not normal, or people judge them as not normal. That's not normal. That's not what I would normally do. It's like, well, then you're probably doing the right thing. You're probably in the right territory, and you're probably moving in the right direction. If it feels uncomfortable or people don't quite understand it yet, that's very Uranus Aquarian energy. I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you all on Wednesday. Peace.